Welcome to Want to Learn Chemistry, a site to help you become a chemistry expert. Today we will be learning about forming bonds. Starter activity. Use the periodic table to identify the elements from the number of electrons they have. Pause this video whilst you do so. Now here's a hint to help you answer the question. Now let's go over the answer. A is helium, B is carbon, C is sodium, and D is phosphorus. Today you'll be learning how to represent bonds between atoms. You will also be learning about ionic and covalent bonds. You need to be able to state the two types of bonding present in compounds, interpret formula in terms of number and types of atoms that have joined together, and explain how the two types of bonding happen. Atoms can be joined together in three possible ways. Metals and nonmetals carry out ionic bonding, nonmetals carry out covalent bonding, and metals carry out metallic bonding. All three types involve changes in the electrons in the outermost electron shells of the atoms. The electrons that surround the nucleus of an atom are arranged in shells. Each shell has a maximum number of electrons that can exist in that shell. The shells are also known as energy levels. The shell closer to the nucleus is lower energy, and then the energy levels increase. Most ionic compounds contain a metal and a nonmetal. When metals react, they lose outer shell electrons to leave a full electron shell. This produces a charged atom, ion, with a positive charge. Here a neutral atom loses one or more electron to become a positive ion. When nonmetals react with a metal, they gain electrons to achieve a full electron shell. Here a neutral atom gains one or more electrons to become a negative ion. Now we will watch the reaction of sodium and chlorine.
This is a lump of sodium. When it gets really hot, it melts. If you mix it with a jar of chlorine, a reaction immediately takes place to form sodium chloride, or common salt.
What are the electron structures of sodium and chlorine? Try to complete this question on your own. Now let's go over the answer. Sodium atom loses one electron to become a sodium ion. Sodium ion has electronic configuration 280, and sodium atom has electronic configuration 281, 1 in its third shell. Chlorine atom gains one electron from sodium to become a chlorine ion. It now has a full configuration 288 from 287. Now let's go over the electronic structure of sodium and chlorine. As you can see, chlorine has gained an electron from sodium atom, shown by the cross. Opposite attract. The oppositely charged ions are attracted into a lattice that gets bigger and bigger until it consists of millions of ions. So you have sodium Na+ ion, chloride Cl- ion to form sodium chloride. Now let's go over another question. Here lithium reacts with fluorine to form lithium fluoride. Lithium has 1 electron in its outermost shell. Fluorine has 7 electrons in its outermost shell. So now we form Li plus ion and F minus ion, which is lithium ion and fluoride ion combined together to form lithium fluoride. Another question is potassium and chlorine react together to form potassium chloride. Now let's go over another question. Here calcium reacts with oxygen to form calcium oxide. The atomic number and mass number for calcium is reversed, but the atomic number is still 20 and mass number is 40. Mass number, remember, is always the bigger number. Calcium loses 2 electrons and oxygen gains 2 electrons. E minus is shorthand for electron. So we form a calcium 2 plus positive ion and O2 minus negative ion. The noble gases. The group 0 elements are also known as noble gases. These elements are very unreactive. Why do you think this is? This is because they have a full outer shell. They don't need to lose or gain any electrons through reacting to get a full outer shell. Now let's go over covalent bonding. Covalent bonding is the sharing of electrons between atoms to become a stable molecule. Here we have 2 hydrogen atoms with 1 electron in its outer shell. They combine to form a hydrogen molecule by sharing both of their outer electrons. Here we have oxygen atoms, where 2 oxygen atoms combine to form an oxygen molecule. Oxygen atom has 6 electrons in its outer shell. Then through trial and error we try to make 8 outer electrons. Here we can see that we have 5 electrons for one of the oxygen atoms and 5 electrons for the other oxygen atom, and in total each oxygen atom has 6 electrons, which is not enough. So we take the other 2 electrons to make it stable. Here a pair of electrons show a single bond. Because this has 2 pairs of electrons, oxygen has a double bond. Now let's carry out the covalent bonding for water. In order to make water, we have oxygen atom and hydrogen atom. Oxygen has 6 outer electrons. Hydrogen has 1 outer electron. And both of them share their electrons to make a stable structure. So 1 electron is used from hydrogen, 1 electron is used from oxygen, and the remaining pair is also shown. And it's very important that you remember to show the electrons that are not being used, as well as the ones that are being used. Now let's practice with more questions. Complete the dot and cross diagram for carbon dioxide, methane and ammonia. Pause the video whilst you do so. This is the diagram for carbon dioxide, for methane, and finally ammonia. The red circle highlights the pair of electrons that belong to nitrogen but is not used for sharing. Quiz. Answer the questions 1 to 5. Question 1. Barium is a metal. It loses 2 electrons when it forms an ion. What is the formula for barium ion? And the answer is Ba2+. Question 2. What do we call the bonds between nitrogen and hydrogen atoms in ammonia molecule? The answer is covalent bonding. Question 3. What kind of bonding happens between a metal and a non-metal? And the answer is ionic bonding. Question 4. What kind of bonding happens between a non-metal and a non-metal? And it is covalent bonding. Question 5. Can you draw a diagram to show the covalent bonding of hydrogen chloride? And here's the dot and cross diagram for hydrogen chloride. Summary question. Question 1. Copy and complete using the words below. Pause the video whilst you fill in the blanks. Now let's go over the answer. Metal atoms form positive ions because they lose 1 or more electrons when they combine with non-metals. Non-metal atoms gain electrons in the reaction, forming negative ions. The oppositely charged ions attract each other. This is called ionic bonding. When non-metals combine with each other, they form covalent bonds. Their atoms share electrons. Question 2. Magnesium atom loses 2 electrons when they combine with fluorine. Each fluorine atom gains 1 electron each in the reaction. Question 2a. What is the name of the compound formed when magnesium reacts with fluorine? 2b. Write down the formula of a magnesium ion and fluoride ion. And 2c. What is the formula of the compound when magnesium reacts with fluorine? Now let's go over the answer. Question 2a asked, what is the name of the compound formed when magnesium reacts with fluorine? And the answer is magnesium fluoride. Question 2b, write down the formula of a magnesium ion and fluoride ion. And the answer is Mg2+ and 2 lots of F-. Question 2c, what is the formula of the compound when magnesium reacts with fluorine? And the answer is MgF2. You have been listening to me at Want to Learn Chemistry, a site to help you become a chemistry expert. Like and subscribe for more videos.